Hey guys, it's Chris. We're back. This is a little different format for BS at the Bench. So we're at Recon by Fire in Park Hill, Oklahoma. We just got done shooting the last Midwest Long Range Rimfire Series match. Which, what did you take today? Fourth, yeah. And then I did really bad. But what we're going to talk about a little bit. We got a topic today. We're going to talk about the Maven RS4 that I picked up from those guys, and we've been doing a little testing, trying it in matches. Bud's run it in the first MWLR match, and now I've got a Most Series PRS match on it and a Midwest Long Range match. So, So, I mean, just go over the specs of it. The RS4 is a 34 mil tube, 56 mil objective, 5 to 30 power. You know, pretty standard for what you see. It's got illumination, red, green, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, you've been around it a little bit now.
Yeah.
What's kind of your first thought?
Well, didn't know much about Mavens, so
yeah.
The first match I got, you threw together a gun for me for that match.
Yeah.
Put that scope on there, so that was my first impressions. Kind of got thrown into it, and the reticle to me is second to none really, because I love the 2/10. It goes across 2/10 in 1 mil. 1 mil down and then 2 mils down. It gives you a little more Christmas tree, so it's not super busy.
What do you think of the line weight?
I'm different from most because I like a heavier one. This one is thin, but I still could see it. I run a Gen 1 Razor because I got the fattest ones, because my eye, I can't see it.
Yeah.
I could still see this one, and for me that's a big plus because I can't, whatever my eye focuses out of it.
I noticed the set, instead of a round center dot, this has like a diamond shape.
Yeah.
And I've actually used the points on the diamond for indexing sometimes, depending on where I'm at. The reticle for me, it's been pretty usable. You know, out on the windage, you know, on the main bar, as you come off, it gets into that tighter increment section. I can't remember off the top of my head, and I'll put like a pin up of the reticle here that they use. But there's that tighter increment, which Maven's a little more focused, I think, toward hunting than competition, and they do a lot of milling in the reticle, so they use that tighter section to get a finer measurement on their stuff. But I mean, so when you were using it in the match, I know for me, I'm trying to think of how it all worked out. It was the first match I ran it in, I think I was holding too much wind. Generally, but I'm not real. Well, the 2.5s, and then I transitioned. I don't know. I'm mainly all my scopes I think are all 2/10, even before I got the Leopold, which I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's sitting over there. But we went from quarter mil to 2/10, and now I've got the Night Force I got from you, and then I think everything else I've got. No, the Arkin's quarter mil, isn't it?
Quarter mil on that too.
Yeah.
Just like you.
So I bounce back and forth, so I don't get real used to the stuff, I guess. But the reticle's been very usable. I think I'd have liked a little bit better field in my windage holes in the tree, because I believe, if I remember right, it goes
down to 1 mil, and it'll have 2 dots on each side at 1 mil.
Yeah. Yeah, so as it breaks down at the half mils, it's got the wind. It doesn't have near the field like the Mill XT from the Attacker or something like that.
It's a lot less busy for sure.
Which I think that's helped me with spotting my shots on the 22.
Holdovers and dialing. If you're on a time crunch, that's the only time you need a holdover. If you can dial, for me anyway, you can dial it, you'll be better off. And I'm a Vortex fan.
Yeah.
And most everyone else, it's either half meals, 2.5s. This is the first one I've seen that's actually 210s, which doesn't seem like a lot, but in a 22 world for me, you know, the targets are closer, but the targets are also smaller. So, so if you can break it down to 210s, and then if you get a target in there, you can see 310s better to me. So this reticle for me was easy to understand, easy to run with, and I feel like it less busy on the bottom is kind of helpful because you can see if you miss low, if you dialed wrong or whatever, you can kind of see better.
And I know, guys, it may seem like we're rambling on the reticle a little bit, but if you think about it, that is the #1 thing in a scope you're going to use every time you get in it. The reticle's so important to you as a shooter. You have to be comfortable with it. You have to understand it. You got to know how to use it. That's probably one of my biggest downfalls is I switch between equipment so much, trying to test stuff and show you guys stuff, that I don't get comfortable with something. About the only thing I think I'm really comfortable with is the Timony hit trigger. That's because every one of my rigs has got one in it. But and I'm getting there with the foundation between the 22 and my my 25 Creedmoor. You know.
Can't beat the foundation.
Well, yeah, you got one too.
Yeah.
Well, there's a gray bow back here.
John, I mean, Manners is a great stock and all them, and they do great for the shooting community. And so does Foundation. I know John Kyle and his wife and his kids. They're great people.
Yeah.
And the stock themselves stand out.
In case everybody was wondering, this setup here, this is my Voodoo. You've seen it in a couple of videos already. The MG2, Hawkins bottom metal, Hawkins heavy tactical. If you're wondering why the rail ain't on it, it's because the geometry doesn't fit with the Maven, so I just left it off. We're running the 24-inch Krieger barrel. I'm still kind of getting it figured out. It shoots really well. One of the biggest problems I have with shooting it and messing with it is simply that I don't have the range at home to be able to properly dope my rifle. So I have to go other places, which, I mean, most of you guys have to go to ranges anyway to shoot. I got to come out here with Bud and get him to teach me how to properly apply ballistics and do all that kind of good stuff. Dalton's sitting behind the camera staring at me funny, in case y'all are wondering where Dalton is. But so kind of back on the scope, what do you think about the turrets?
The turrets, they're not audible like a Gen 2 Razor, but they are solid. They're not spongy. You can feel them. You can't really hear them.
I've been thinking about taking that O-ring out of it and see what they'll do then.
But at the same time, you can feel it. It's real firm, it's real solid.
You get into some of the scopes, and some of them I feel like they almost feel cheap.
Yeah, well,
you know, and I'm not digging on anybody's scopes, right? It just sometimes you get some of them ones that they just don't feel right. You had a Night Force, you know what it feels like. You got a Leopold. We are talking about a scope right at the $2,000 limit. I think on Maven's website they're $1,800 for the RS4. So it really is, it's bumping that Leopold Mark V territory, and right in there with like the Burris XTR3s, the XTR3 Pro, stuff like that.
Razor Gen 2s.
The Razor, yeah.
You can big them up about 1,800.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't understand the word spongy until you've gotten a good scope and clicked it, and then got a bad scope with a spongy. As soon as
it don't even feel right when you grab it. Yeah. You're like, oh!
You don't understand what spongy feels like. Go get an A-Tacker and then go get something else. I love Vortex. The Diamondback to me is a very spongy turret. I mean, for $300,
well, yeah, I mean,
can't expect much.
It's the price point.
Yeah, that'll get the
you
understanding.
You can buy several Diamondbacks.
Yes. But I mean, the turrets feel great. They're not, like I said, they're not loud, which if they're made for a hunting rifle, I'm pretty sure you don't want something going bang, 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 bang while you're trying to click over to hunt. So, but they're very solid, very crisp.
I know. Just when I was playing with it, it didn't. I wasn't gonna go past where I wanted to on accident, and if I mean, unless I was just like wrenching on it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not. I mean, you got to really hit that thing to make it turn. So it's still solid. It just doesn't have the audible clicks.
Yeah.
So to me, the turrets are great. The knurling on the sides, I guess that's how you say it.
Knurling, yeah.
It's perfect. I mean, it's rough. but it's
not so aggressive it hurts.
The more pressure you put on it, the tighter it'll get, so you can really get a bite on it, but it's not going to cut your hands up as you're trying to dial it if you're in a hurry.
I've been playing with an XTR3 from Burris here lately. We've been messing with one, and the knurling on it is almost violent when you grab it. Now, that being said, if I had gloves on, great. So I don't know where the camera died and where it left off. We had talked about, you know, how the turrets aren't necessarily audible, but they are crisp, they're not spongy, all that kind of good stuff. For a hunting situation, I would think that'd be a type of turret you'd probably want to where it's not just stupid, crazy loud, right?
Well, the Gen 2s are, I think, the loudest, and they're like, pop, 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 pop.
I don't know, that daggum Mark 5 back there, pretty daggum loud.
Pretty loud too, but I mean, I've run the Mark 5, and I've ran it for 6 months now or so.
Yeah, something like that.
And this, to me, is a little more crisper than the Mark 5 on the turret-wise.
I can see Dalton cringing behind the camera, like he's
Vortex fan, Leopold fan.
Y'all some fanboys. I don't get to be a fanboy. I get to run whatever, you know, whatever's around.
No, it's a good-looking scope. Everything's on it. The print's good. As far as that, the only thing I wish they would do a little bit better, they got a lot of
the lines.
Lines are small, the lines are close. I mean, it goes to 10, so everybody else does, but the only other way is get a big old fat turret. So
yeah, I don't know. It seems, what is everybody going to now? Like 12 mil turrets or something? Well, I know 10 mil, but I thought what's the Gen 3? Isn't it? It's bigger than 10, isn't it?
I've been behind them, but I
can't remember.
I can't get past the turrets.
Don't get me lying, because I know like the Leopold
10.5.
10.5.
Yeah, 10.5 mils on it. I thought there was maybe something else went a little further, but I can't remember. But there go your nuts.
Well, that ain't my wife's personal.
That ain't in your wife's personal. But so yeah, like I said, I've shot 2 matches on it. Bud shot 1. You know, we're overall so far. I mean, this isn't like a full comprehensive review or nothing. It's tracked well. From what I can tell, I haven't sat down and just box tested it, but there's enough people out there who've probably already done that. But you know, at $1,800, it better freaking track. You know, we're not talking about, you know, $200 Bushnells. We're talking about a different tier of optic. We're talking about a competition grade optic. See, sorry, there's a goat running around.
I'm trying to get it to go home with you.
You ain't sending the goat home with me. I don't want to go. My wife wants to go. I don't want to go. The goat already got on the car.
Well, it was ready to go home. It just couldn't open up the door, Chris.
It's going to poop all over my stuff now.
Oh, that's about what
This is going to be a really good episode.
It's not boring for sure. No.
But, so I did. So when Maven sent me the scope, I didn't have the sunshade. I don't think you ran it with the sunshade.
No, I did not.
I went ahead and bought one. I don't know, there's not really a whole lot else to beat to death on the scope.
With 22 being in the conversation, parallax.
You're gonna have, if you, oh yeah, parallax. Yeah. Dalton's back here directing. He's the director today. So the parallax knob, that's probably, I'm glad you brought it up, because that is probably one of my biggest kind of beefs with this thing. That thing is rough to turn.
It is. You need one of them wheels on it, because it's definitely not going to move on you while you're shooting.
I think it's smooth. It's not gritty or nothing like that. And I think it's loosened up a little bit since I first got it. And it may just need broke in, I don't know, but it's not like you got to clamp down on that joker and move it.
You're gonna have to get a hold of it to move it. I mean, that's personal preference, and
yeah, I don't know that there's anything wrong with it. It's just,
yeah, it would be nice for me if it was a little looser. One other thing is the zoom ring on it is backwards, and I know there's a lot of people out there way smarter than me, but
what do you mean backwards? That way.
Isn't it backwards?
No.
No,
it ain't backwards. That's max power over there to the right.
To the razor it is.
It is.
Oh, to the razor it is? Well, the Leopold's the same way.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say I like the Leopold either. No. Well, maybe it ain't. I don't know. Maybe I just because it was the first time I was using it. But the ring on it, it's stiff, it's nice, it's smooth and everything. It's tough too. It's not tough. It's.
I do wish they would send it. I mean, I get the knob, and if it's more or this little like indexer right here. On their website, I think they sell a throw lever meant for it, and I just didn't pick one up. And that would probably make that a whole lot in a competition setting for us.
Yeah.
In a hunting setting, they want less stuff to grab, snag, whatever. In a competition world, you know, the parallax being a little easier to move because we have to adjust on the fly. We're engaging multiple targets at multiple distances inside of a 90 to 120 second time frame usually. So we like things to move a little freer.
Well, I mean at 15 power, because it's a 30 power scope, and my problem with the higher power scopes has always been if you get it down there around 12 to 15, I can't see the reticle at all. With this one here, I've had no problem at 15. 20 power is good, the reticle's up there and you can see it.
When you do the sun and moon match, I may bring it back, and then so for anybody who doesn't know, if you go back through my videos at Recon by Fire, I filmed a match here. He calls it the sun and moon match, and we shoot however many stages in the day and then reshoot them at night, right?
Stan.
Yeah, Stan Martin.
He matched Rex that we hosted for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's we do 7 in the
That's a goat.
7 in the evening, and then we break, take lunch, let the get dark out, and then we shoot through the next 6 stages at night.
We may bring it back for that match, and I may shoot it that way we can really test the illumination. Mm-hmm. I've got this scope for a while, so there will be videos dedicated to it. I'm here in Oklahoma with him. We don't get to do this every day, and I need a BS at the bench episode, and today this is the bench.
This is the bench.
It don't hide my beer belly.
Well, that's why I put you over there, some wind blowing against your shirt.
I got you.
The eye box on it to me really is
it's pretty forgiving.
Pretty forgiving. I mean, on 30 power it gets pretty tight, but at 15, 20 power you can kind of move around and you can still see it clearly.
Mm-hmm.
The glass on it is dang good in my mind. It's up there with Leopold, up there with Vortex in my mind. It's pretty clear. This thing here we shot at Dalton's, and it was a soupy, I mean just like it is here, soupy, muggy day. I mean it was cool in the morning, it warmed up like here. That old Mirage was coming off the ground. That's when I shot this, and I had to adjust the parallax to see the Mirage to see where it's coming from. I mean it was just clear. The attacker to me, which like I said, my eye is weird. I ran a Gen 1 Razor just because I had a fat reticle so I could see it. So
I have astigmatism, so I tend to lean toward the heavier reticles. I know like Dalton and some of the guys have tried to talk me into the PR2 in the Leopold, and that's one reason that old Leopold of mine, I got it from Dalton, and it had the CCH in it, and it really kind of jumped out to me because the line weight was a little heavier, and with the way my astigmatism is, it seems like the real fine reticles kind of
fade out.
I can focus past them or something. I'm not sure how to really explain it. There's been times, I know at Gadsden, shooting that one of all things, and it's a fairly heavy reticle. We were shooting the Catalina wine mixer at Gadsden, NRL 22X match, and there were several stages. I'd come up and I would try to parallax a target, and I couldn't see the reticle. Which I know the Leopold's only supposed to parallax, what, 75 yards?
75 yards.
But we've tested them, and I think the closest I've seen one do is maybe 40-ish. And I don't think that's advertised, and I think that's going to be from person to person, depending on your eye and all that kind of mess. But I had that scope set to me, and anything 60 yards and in, when it was either I could see the reticle or I could see the target. I couldn't see them both at the same time. And I was like, well, time to move on.
Well, it's in scopes. I mean, as long as they track right and all, it's all down to eye preference. You know, how your eye sees through the scope. What is good, like the A-Tacker, you think you love it. I was more than happy to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks that's stupid. It's all down to your eye.
Well, I think once you get past a certain point on scopes even, you get down into that territory where you have diminishing returns, for one. The price goes way up. Like anything past, you know, $1,500 to $2,000, that bracket, the scopes that live there, once you break that limit, you get marginally better for a whole lot more money, right? Like, I don't know that a Zico is so much better than an A-Tacker to justify the gap between them. But at the same time, you know, how does the Zico and like the Leopold stack up? You're talking 2,000 to 4,000, right?
That's them are fighting words in some areas.
Oh, we're in Oklahoma. I can't.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. We don't talk about tangent theta in Oklahoma. Yeah. Everybody loves tangent.
The turrets on them. You ever get on? You ever get?
Hey, there's the goat.
She's for sale. I'll give you $50 to take her home.
I'll give you $50 to take her home.
All right.
Bud's gonna buff my car.
I'm not. Big head over there.
There's Tony.
Yeah.
We get Tony out there to buff my car.
I don't know.
So we've talked about the Maven. We kind of went through that. For one, if you guys can't tell from behind me, this is Recon by Fire. We're at your home.
We're at home. Yeah, all the trees down.
He opened up a lot. He's done a lot of work. What did we shoot today? 326?
Yeah.
Something like that. So you guys have heard me and Bud talk about this before. You know I come over here a lot. This is one of my favorite spots to come. It's I mean, you probably got one of the more family friendly ranges. Most of them are pretty family friendly, but you spend a lot of time with the new shooters. Like today, you had 4 today.
4, never been into a match before.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Guys, I wish I could have got it on camera because, like, I was watching as we were shooting. I was being kind of selfish today. I shot, I didn't film. It is very challenging to film the whole match and try to shoot and do well. And I probably ought to go back to filming because I'm not doing very well at shooting here lately.
It was tricky today.
Oh, this wind, man, this wind was tough. It rained on us this morning. In case y'all are wondering, today is what, April 16th?
Yeah.
And you know, Easter weekend. And if you go back and look at the weather here at Park Hill was not great. And I know, like, on several of these stages, I'd start off holding left edge. Great, center impact. Take my next shot. Should have held right edge. It was, you know, it was switching back and forth. 22 stuff, you got to know how to read wind.
This bottom down here, it don't help anything. We took out them trees in the center. I kind of was hoping it would just be across in one direction, but I think it just intensified it.
Yeah,
I mean,
but no. So I mean, if you guys are in the Oklahoma area, the surrounding states, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, Texas, Colorado on the other side, right? Yeah. I mean, get your asses over here. Shoot with us. We're running the MWLR Series right now. You got some PRS matches too, right here and there.
Yeah.
So he's in the PRS Series as well. If you're a registered member for that and you like to chase those points, I don't know what else. I mean, shoot, we talked about the scope. We talked about all that stuff. I'm kind of freaking cold, and I'm sure my headlights are on.
I slept with my ears and my head might fall on. I was only brave for so long.
He's only brave for so long. He can't have his ears get cold. He's delicate.
I can't.
But, well, guys, I appreciate y'all hanging out with us for this episode of BS at the Bench. A little shorter than normal, I think. I'm not sure exactly how long we've been talking.
How many bloopers is on?
Well, I don't hardly edit these things at all. Like, I just let them. This one's going to be easy because it's only one camera. When we do them at home, I run 3 cameras with me and Dalton usually.
Well, if
so
I
far,
broke the other ones, would have been all right.
Well, guys, y'all take it easy. I appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time. Come see us here at Midwest Long Range and Recon by Fire.
Yes, sir.